Hi, folks. I've disagreed with Governor Tom Wolf on a number of issues since he's taken office, and I've told you about several of them. But what I'm about to tell you takes the cake. Just when you think this governor can't abuse his authority anymore, or that he's unable to ignore the will of the people any further, Tom Wolf reaches a new low. My fellow citizens of the 39th District, Governor Wolf has taken funding approved by the General Assembly for schools in our district and sent it to Philadelphia. He's done so by executive fiat, ignoring the will of the legislature. This is unfair, and it may be unconstitutional. Before I tell you how he did it, let me tell you about the damage he's done to our local schools. He's cut more than $218,000 from the budget of Bethel Park, $32,000 from Bentworth, more than $141,000 from Elizabeth Forward School District, $90,000 from South Park, and almost $115,000 from West Jefferson Hills. This is money he's cut from the increases approved for these schools by the House and Senate. And school districts in our area are not alone. Wolf has cut funding from 428 of the state's 500 districts, while increasing Philadelphia's school funding by a whopping $34.4 million. Of the $200 million in new K-12 education funding approved by the legislature, the governor has sent $100 million, 50%, to just three school districts: Philadelphia, Chester Upland in suburban Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh City Schools. The $200 million authorized by the legislature included $150 million in basic education funding and $50 million for the Ready to Learn Block Grant, a program which can reimburse school districts for costs associated with charter schools. When you look at how he reduced our local Ready to Learn funding and redistributed it to big city schools controlled by teachers' unions who are among the governor's biggest supporters, the contrast is even more stark. Bethel Park and Elizabeth Forward's Ready to Learn block grants were chopped by 17%, Bentworth's by 13%, Ringgold's by 20%. South Park and West Jefferson Hills both saw Ready to Learn funding reduced by more than 18% over what the legislature had designated. Philadelphia? Well, you guessed it. Governor Wolf whimsically gave that failing school system a 54% increase at our kids' expense. How's he doing this? By making up authority he doesn't have. After 9 months of wrangling, half-truths, vetoes, and deceptions, the governor finally acquiesced to the will of the people and let a no new taxes budget become law. That budget included the record investment in public education I spoke about. The budget also contained a clause saying that the governor could only distribute the $200 million in new funding if he also approved the enabling legislation we call the Fiscal Code. The Fiscal Code contained a more equitable funding formula that benefited schools in our area, created by a bipartisan, bicameral legislative commission that the governor last year said he supported. But, once again, the governor says one thing and does another. Going against his own word, Governor Wolf vetoed the Fiscal Code while letting the 2015-16 budget take effect. After vetoing the Fiscal Code, the governor fabricated from whole cloth a fiction that he could distribute educational dollars however he wished. He began slashing in funding for schools in our area to reward special interests in big cities who supported him. In my mind, this is the very definition of lawlessness, and I hope that legislative efforts to take the governor to court on this matter soon proceed. The situation is even worse than I've explained so far. By vetoing the Fiscal Code, the governor also cut hundreds of millions of dollars schools around the state were depending on to be reimbursed for construction expenditures. If schools aren't reimbursed for these costs as expected, guess where they're going to turn to make up the difference? That's right, property taxes. Unless the governor is stopped, our already outrageous and outdated system of property taxes will worsen. While we continue the fight to adopt House Bill 76 and eliminate the school property tax once and for all, the governor works against us on that front too. Unbelievable. And how does the governor justify this? By his usual trickery. He is telling taxpayers that schools are receiving more money than last year. That is a partial truth. While schools are receiving slightly more than last year, they are not receiving the full funds approved in the budget. Instead, as I said, he is diverting the money to Philadelphia. Friends, I'm not attacking the governor just for the sake of attacking him. I'm just telling you what's going on in Harrisburg. It's got me hot under the collar, and it should have you angry too. Ultimately, it will be up to you, the citizens of the state, to hold Governor Wolf accountable for his actions. Even members of his own party have been subject to his wrath and dictator-like abuse. 10 House Democrats who joined the Republican majority in passing the No New Taxes budget have reported that the governor has been punishing them, interfering with their ability to provide services to their constituents. Folks, this is Chicago-style politics and has no place in our Commonwealth. We're not done yet. We in the legislature are going to fight to implement a fairer funding formula for schools, and we will go toe-to-toe with Wolf to make sure he doesn't tilt education funding in this state to the southeast. You have my word. It won't be easy, but ultimately, because we stand with the people, I believe we will prevail. Until next time, in God we trust.